Welcome to the Pediatric Dietitian Podcast, where we, Jen and Danielle, discuss all things related to nutrition for children of all ages so that you, the parents, can learn practical, evidence-based solutions to nourish your child long-term. Common mistakes we see first-time parents make that they just get me because I'm like, oh, you're trying, but no.
But I will say, like, as a first-time parent, like, there is so much misleading guidance on the internet, on Instagram, on social media. People are perpetuating a lot of things that kind of stress you out.
Yeah, I did literally tell a first-time parent the other day, I said, stay off of Instagram. Just stop looking up parenting blogs.
I mean, I used it as Google.
Yeah.
Because
that makes sense.
Like, I don't know what to do.
And sometimes I feel like you'd rather hear from another parent, and that's on Instagram and TikTok. And it worked for their kid.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean it works for every kid, you know? And also, in general, social media paints a perfect, ideal picture. And it's not always like what you should strive for 100% of the time. It's like, I mean, if that works out sometimes, awesome, but it doesn't have to be
so
this.
Perfect. I know, like those bento boxes with like everything in a smiley face and everything.
I'm like, that's
cut up,
adorable.
Like,
who has time for that?
5 minutes in the morning to make you breakfast and lunch. It's not happening.
So like this mom I talked to the other day was so anxiety ridden because her 8-month-old, he's really 11 months old, but corrected age, because he's super preemie, is 8 months old. He's only drinking like 18 to 20 ounces of formula total in a day, but he's eating 3 meals a day and gaining weight wonderfully. And I'm like, she's like, well, the internet says he needs to be drinking 24 ounces a day, and she's freaking out about this. I'm like, but literally his weight gain is perfect. What do we do? There's no evidence to show me he needs 24 ounces a day. So I'm like, relax.
I know, as long as they're eating, they're gaining weight.
Yep.
Like,
we don't have to do the textbook rules if your kid is growing well and is healthy. So let's relax. So
one of the biggest mistakes, like salt. So I totally like got on this train of like no salt up until 1 year, like trying not to cook with a lot of salt when I was making him like meals. And then like after a year, it just magically like you could give him salt.
Well, their salt needs like triple. Their sodium needs triple after 1 year of age.
But if you forget to do that, food is just going to taste terrible. So they're not going to want to eat it.
Yes. So I for sure had patients continue with like this super low salt diet, even through like, I think I had a 5-year-old the other day. Yeah. And it was interesting because he has a tube feeding and he eats by mouth. And we're trying to get him off this feeding tube. We're trying to wean him down, and he totally can do it. But mom was just saying like he's really picky. And then I'm hearing all the examples of what he likes to eat, and the things he likes best are very flavored. And I'm like, how do you cook at home? Well, I try not to use any salt, any seasonings. I'm like, oh, so you're making it really bland because you think this is healthy for him, but he hates it. Okay, so there is a difference between sodium from real salt from the earth and sodium from preservatives, sodium benzoate, monosodium glutamate. Okay, so when we're just getting sodium from sodium chloride, which is just salt, and we're just using it to cook with, it's a very small amount relative to the high amount of sodium you would get from a bag of Takis because it has like 3 different forms of sodium. Or from Chick-fil-A meal because it has so many different forms of sodium in the breading and the chicken and the fries and the ketchup, which it's like the amount of sodium they should have for the whole day. But cooking with salt at home, it's very hard to overdo it on sodium. We're not talking about salt from the instant ramen packet and prepackaged like bottled dressings or sauces. Okay, I'm just talking about cooking with salt to flavor the food so your kid tastes the flavor. Like sodium is needed in the body for normal processes. So
you can't go on a no sodium diet.
Right.
It's not good for anyone.
Yeah, if you want your kids to like your food, you have to make it taste like something.
But you could also like try spices and seasonings and even
add
like,
all the seasonings.
Things. Like my husband and I were eating like salsa with our dinner, and he's like, green, I want to try some of that. So I was like, okay, go for it.
Was it spicy or like a little kick?
It was like mild, but he was like, ooh, like made a face at it.
Nice.
But then he was like, more. So,
nice.
You never know, like if they like spicy and
right.
they try it.
You just have to let them try it. It's not dangerous. It's not bad to give them like all the curry and the this and the that, like
flavor.
So that is one of the mistakes I see, like first-time parents just serving bland, plain food. And I do think there's a time and a place for that because they should taste the flavor of just this food as it is, but also they need to experience all the things.
You don't need to drown everything in hot
Right.
sauce just to get them like some flavor. Like that's not what we mean.
Yeah.
More like
Yep. Another thing I see is just parents automatically switching their babies with no advice from formula in a bottle to milk in a bottle too, just like we've heard pediatricians recommending. And so then it's just unfortunate because I see so many like 2-year-olds still with a bottle, and it just makes it so much harder to switch once you've already gotten them used to that habit. And so my advice is always, like you said, out of sight, out of mind. Like, and
they don't know the difference.
Yes.
You're not gonna know. Mom took away my bottle. Like, I don't think they're really gonna comprehend that at that
Every
age.
kid is different, I will say, but they'll comprehend it more if you wait till they're 2.
Yes.
You know, so.
And they're already saying, where's my bottle?
Yeah, that's a problem. So when we do find older kids beyond 1 year of age still on the bottle, like 2, 3 year, I've definitely had 2 and 3-year-olds still in the bottle, I do recommend doing it more formally where you actually are like waving goodbye to the bottle so that that kid makes the association and connection like they're literally leaving. Because when I scream and throw a tantrum tonight for my bottle, I understand mom cannot give it to me because they're physically not in the house anymore.
Same thing with like pacifiers. It's like the same kind of like weaning. Don't just like rip it from their mouth and throw it in the trash.
There's no like gradual way to do it. It's like once you get rid of them, you cannot wait till your kid is throwing a tantrum and then give in to them because that creates a really bad cycle that they learn. Once I cry and scream, then they give me what I want. That's torture for both of you. So have you seen when parents are doing first foods at 6 months of age, like purees, and then they'll mix formula into that or breast milk?
Yeah. I know, I have seen that.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan because then everything tastes like that.
Yeah, like you don't need it, first of all. The purees are like the right texture for them. It's totally fine.
Right. You don't need to thin them out more.
No.
At all.
Unless they like really need the extra calories, but then it's like, it's not going to do much.
No. And also though, if they really need the extra calories, there's still other options besides breast milk or formula. Again, my reasoning for not using that as the calorie additive is because, well,
Everything's going to taste like breast milk. Everything's going to taste
like formula. And then they're like, I already just had this 5 minutes ago. Why are you giving me this flavor again? I'm
it's
over
also,
it.
Like, not really introducing the food if it's just going to taste like breast milk.
Yeah, they need to experience the flavor of that food. Like I've seen parents either add liquid formula or breast milk to the purees because they think it needs to be thinned out, or they add the scoop of powder to the, I know, you're right. Because they're like, well, the pediatrician said they need to gain weight.
No.
I'm like, oh, guys,
First
but
of
we
all,
could
that
add.
sounds so disgusting.
I know. I'm
It's
like,
not
do you
gonna mix
think
very
that'll
nicely.
taste good? Like, no wonder your kid is done after 2 ounces and they're 9 months old and should be eating more than 2 ounces.
No,
Yeah.
don't do
So
that.
I'm just like, guys.
First of all, has anyone ever smelled formula?
Oh,
It's
not
great.
appetizing. So like, just keep that in the bottle. Keep it separate from food. Don't mix that.
Don't mix it.
Yeah, we're not
No.
going to get kids interested in food if it all tastes like what's in their bottle.
Totally. And from 6 months, the foods are for fun. Like, we're just like introducing new flavors, new textures, new colors, like all those things. You also don't want them to be so full from formula and breast milk, and then they're not even like hungry for whatever you're about to try. So it's better just to space it out.
Yep. So instead of adding powdered formula to baby food for more calories, what would we suggest?
Yeah, like when I was first starting out, like we were introducing like yogurt. We already had introduced
whole milk, plain yogurt.
Yeah, put peanut butter in this yogurt. And
For
just
sure.
to get more calories. Or like I would smash avocado into like everything.
Yep. If your kid can't do dairy for a cow's milk protein allergy, you can use coconut cream like the cans of it is pretty high in calories. You can do scrambled eggs for a baby that's only used to purees, honestly, as a really good soft food with different texture to move on to, and then make the eggs with cheese for more calories, or heavy whipping cream if you need to.
Still how I make my eggs.
Exactly. Why not? Okay, so I had this patient the other day, came to me for failure to thrive, I think 10 months old. I actually had 2 patients with the similar story a few weeks apart. So yeah, the issue was, first of all, they only fed the kid purees. One was 8 months old, one was 10 months old. Only purees, like from a container. No regular food, no table food, no food that the parents are eating. Okay, so number one, that's not helpful in terms of
advancing.
Thank you. They're not being able to participate in the meal like their parents, their only child, by the way. And so I'm like talking to the parents, is your child interested? How do they look when you're eating? Are they interested? Oh yeah, he tries to grab off the plate. I'm like, oh, do you ever give it to him? No, we weren't sure what to do. I understand that you're not sure what to do, and maybe you're following really antiquated advice about like the stages of purees, which honestly has no evidence for. I feel like that's all based on marketing and commercial baby food.
It's very old school. That it has been debunked. Like, you don't need to start with fruits, vegetables.
Yeah, so I'm like, just all the foods all at once, honestly. And you don't need to wait 3 or more days to introduce a new food. If your kid has an allergy, you will see it in that moment to a food. It doesn't show up 3 days later.
Yeah. You just don't want to do 2 common allergens for the first time at the same time.
Because then you're like, which food was the problem? So anyways, they were taking baby food purees and then watering it down because did they assume that he could only have liquid? Like he was only used to breast milk in a bottle, by the way. Then they're
put it in a bottle?
No, they spoon fed it. And then this other kid, they did homemade purees, but it was like a spinach soup. It was a cultural food that they were making, but it was super brothy. And there was, like, I asked the questions. There's no protein, there's no fat added, there's not even a starchy carb like rice or anything. So it was like watery spinach soup. And then
not enough calories.
Why isn't he gaining weight? We don't know. Why doesn't he want to eat all? He won't even finish his bowl. Oh, so then they added baby rice cereal to it. I was like, that, just like watery spinach soup with rice cereal.
It's the hard part too of balancing it, because you are like most likely reducing the amount of formula and breast milk slowly over time. And if you're not increasing the solids and the calories, like there's nothing to make up the difference. They're not going to gain weight.
So my advice was mix all of that. So what are you eating, Mom and Dad? So they told me what they're eating. I'm like, perfect. He can eat all of that. And they were like in shock and disbelief. It's actually super fun to do these types of visits. And they're just like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, just feed him the chicken and the noodles. Yeah. Just like, but we make it with this and this sauce. And I'm like, he can have it. It's fine.
The biggest thing is just like, obviously watch out for the choking risk. Don't serve them coin-sized foods that will get caught in their throat. Some programs that we like that I used when I was doing like baby-led weaning is like the 101 Foods Before 1, and Solid Starts is a really good one. They have an app. Literally can search for the food. They'll show you exactly how to cut it up.
For their age, So the other day, this dad was saying he hasn't fed the 8-month-old any solid foods because the mom is so worried about him choking. So I'm like, okay, then there's an app for that. Yes. It's called Solid Starts. So we walked through it together in the room, and I was like, you see where it says how to serve. So even though your kid is 8 months, I want you to start with the 6-month range here on the app because your kid is just now learning. So for instance, it will show you like a peeled apple, it's cut in half, it's cooked so it's like softer. That way if he does bite off a piece of it, it's not gonna lodge in his throat. The mistake essentially is like letting fear cripple you so that you don't advance your child. And so you're unintentionally holding them back
until they're 10 months to just like finally introduce solids. Like it's too long, Then they have to really develop those skills over time.
They don't develop the skills if they are not given the chance to. It's not magically at a certain age, now he won't choke. That will only happen if they are allowed to practice and develop that skill of controlling food in their mouth.
It is scary though.
I bet.
It's scary, but like you also have to remain calm because if you start freaking out, they're gonna freak out. So
That's another lesson, honestly, that I've had to explain to many parents. Whether it's you bottle feeding your baby, breastfeeding your baby, or feeding solids, they feel your anxiety around feeding. And so often this is a problem with failure to thrive underweight babies because, like, I understand the anxiety of I need to get my baby to eat as much as possible and gain weight. But that anxiety actually affects your milk production and it affects how your baby feels. They sense all of these feelings and it doesn't help the feeding experience. They're just like, cool, every time mom feeds me, she's freaking the hell out.
Why is she crying?
Yeah, why is she crying?
If you're a first-time parent, like just take a CPR class. Like you're gonna have so much more peace of mind of knowing, like, God forbid something happened, you could get that food out.
Yeah, because they teach you not only just CPR but choking. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then it's also like the more that you manipulate it and try to like push it, it makes it worse. Don't stick your fingers in their mouth. That's another one.
Right. Helping alleviate the anxiety any way you can is going to help your child be a better and safer eater. So if that means having dad or grandparent, if there's any other adult that helps take care of this baby, like having them do some of the bottle feeding so that you're not projecting your anxiety on that baby, great. If that means getting a pep talk from your dietitian weekly as a therapy session to calm you down, great, I'm here for it. If that means taking a class, reading through what are the actual choking hazards, okay, because FYI, pasta is not a choking hazard. Feed them that, or whatever the case. Like I've definitely had parents, again, like, oh, no solids because I'm so afraid of choking. Yeah, but this one is not that. Yeah, so just educating yourself, seeking out that information to logic your way out of the anxiety and fear, because you don't want your own anxiety and fear to hold your kid back, because that's going to only make things worse for both of you in the end.
And this is Therapy with Jen and Danielle.
You're welcome. All right, guys. I think that's it for today, yeah? Send us your questions or suggestions.
As a first-time parent that you wish you would have known.
Yeah, maybe even opinions and advice you want to share for other parents.
Exactly.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Pediatric Dietitian. Don't forget to subscribe and share with another parent who could use a little extra support.